And Ava, you'll be aware if people are wanting to come in. And I'd just like to remind all of you that there is a chat. And so we are going to have a participatory event here as much as we can. And yet, if you have something to say and you're not getting a chance to say it, you can put it into the chat. At the end, we can save the chat. So now I'd like to turn this over to Lisandra Barbuto, and I just would like to present her a little bit. Ava, a couple of people, you're attentive to the waiting room, correct, Ava?
I am, yep.
Okay, excellent. So we have several people who are helping with this webinar, and one of them is Lisandra, who I have met at Findhorn Echo Village, and who has been a Gaia University Master's candidate for quite a few years and has taken her time, which has been really lovely to have this long time with her. And she has organized this has been one of the key organizers of this amazing Con Festival, in which I am very, very pleased to participate. So Lisandra, take it away.
Thank you, Liora, and really thank you for you manage your time to offer the session in the Con Festival, which has been huge, and many people sharing their skills and have many meetings, have been really nice, and really nice to have Gaia University in it, because I'm super proud to be part of Gaia University. And the support you give for us as a student, and the empower us and the Gaia University community to make a difference in the world. And it's a good example, and you are a good example for it. And I just want to let people know we are recording, and this recording will be in the Dragon Dreaming Conf Brazil YouTube channel. And I just want to have the permission of you to make this recording.
Anyone objecting to that?
No.
You can put it in the chat, but yeah, I see quite a few thumbs
Great.
up.
It's you, Liora. Thank you a lot.
Okay, you're very welcome. So this Con Festival is about dragon dreaming, and I had the pleasure to meet John, who is one of the key people who has kind of created this this quite awesome way of bringing indigenous knowledge together with what might be considered to be a more Western approach of doing and action and so on. And it starts with dreaming, and I think that's a really significant piece. So I'd like to start this little webinar with everyone taking just a few minutes to just, if you want, you can close your eyes or not, or you could write something down if that feels good, to think about, like, what is your biggest dream? Like the dream that really feels like the dream of something just really even maybe beyond you. And after you've, okay, our phone is still going. Andrew, could you unplug it downstairs? That would be great. So your biggest dream, and then, okay, we didn't unplug our phone, so apologies. So you think about what your biggest dream might be, and then think about one step that you could take. It could be a big step or a little step to advance that dream. So we're just going to take a few minutes to do that. If you want, you can write it down, but let's just vision that for this moment. Let's dream that dream. Okay, thank you, and welcome to any new people who have joined us. But now we're going to be looking at my dream. So this is the first time I've done this on a screen share with a mind map, but let's see if we can do this. Okay, so this has been my dream. So my biggest dream is that Gaia being the name for the earth, becomes what it really is, which is just a glorious place that is full and full of life and has people who are happy and healed and harmonious and in fantastic collaboration and support with each other. And that's my dream of Gaia. That's my biggest dream, that we can restore and regenerate Gaia to be what it is in its most natural and awesome state. And my smaller dream was to create a university. And although I went through conventional universities growing up, I understood that conventional universities didn't really address the dream that I had of Gaia. And so we needed another university. We needed a different kind of university that was less about education, but more about learning and unlearning. And that our alternative movements deserve to have a university in which people could earn bachelor's degrees or master's degrees or diplomas or certificates or some kind of higher education credential that would enable them. One of my dreams has always been that the Minister of Environment for Zambia, and I don't know why I picked that country, but the Minister of Environment for Zambia one day would be a master's degree or maybe even a doctoral degree graduate from Gaia University. So 17 years ago, I met Andrew Langford, who's a permaculture designer for many, many years. And we just came together with that dream and we said, yes, let's make a university that is dedicated to helping to support people who want to restore and regenerate not just themselves, not just their cultures, not just their organizations, but the entire planet of Gaia. And so that dream had a pedagogy attached to it as we developed it, and we called that Transformative Action Unlearning. And that's what we're going to mostly be speaking about today. And that transformative action learning, unlearning, can be applied to anything, starting from yourselves. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And I've made a little mind map to give you an overview. We're going to talk a little bit about transformative action learning and how we become action unlearners by developing our mind flex. We have a little model called by Dr. David Kolb. And then we'll do some breakout groups so that you get a chance to think about and comment and ask any questions. So if you have a pen and paper, you might write some down, questions and comments, and then we'll be looking at next step, another visioning exercise, and some offerings from Gaia U, as well as a full dragon dreaming celebration and checkout. Okay. First, we're going to talk about transformative action learning and why we call it that. Transformative because many things on our planet, and I think all of you are likely very aware of this, many things on our planet need transformation. And they need transformation not just on a global level, they need transformation also on a personal level. And that's one of the things we're going to be getting into in a more deep way in this little presentation from Gaia University. And they also require action. So that's why I call this presentation Moving Our Dreams into Transformative Action Learning. We do need to take action. Dreaming, in my view, is not enough in these times. And we need to unlearn many of the beliefs and the prejudices that we have, that have been overlaid on us. It's not our fault. We were born bright and shiny and really very curious and alive human beings. And if you've had any contact with babies, which most of you have, you know that babies are quite alive and just, yeah, out there in the world. And as we live through our cultures, we get damaged. So we're going to look now at what happens to our brains and how that comes about and what we can do about it. Because we need to develop mind flex. Mind flex means a flexible mind, not a fixed mind. We need to be agile and we need to be resilient in this world. Things are happening quite quickly. I don't know if you've noticed, but I sure have. It feels like days are going by really, really fast. The weeks are going by. Things are changing. We are needing to be highly adaptive. So we're just going to look at this little diagram, which is a diagram that was lent to us by Carol S. Dweck.
Liora, I'm sorry
yes.
to interrupt you,
yes.
because your screen not sharing.
Oh no. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go back. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We had that difficulty before, but then it seemed to have sorted itself out. How about now? Let's try.
No.
No? Okay, Andrew, my tech advisor here, we're not getting screen share.
Okay, you have to turn screen share off and turn it back on.
Okay, let's try that again. Turn it off. That will turn it off.
It's not working, Liora. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Liora, we're just on the Slack screen. I don't know if you wanted to maybe put up the presentation. We can't hear you, Liora. You're muted. There we go.
Okay. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, that's good.
Yes? Okay, I'm going to just go back to the first one so that you don't miss that and give you just a minute to visualize my dream, which you heard about. This was my dream. Excuse me. My dream of our beautiful planet restored, regenerated, and the university that was going to help support that. And we're still good? Still screen sharing? And you can hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
It's working now.
So here's our mind map. And what we're going to be talking about today is moving our dreams into transformative action, unlearning. And I've already spoken about the mind map, so I'll just let you have a look at that so that you can see where we're starting and where we're going from there. And now we're going to go to MindFlex. And MindFlex, as I've said, is the direction we need to go in terms of our human transformation. We need to develop an agile and reflective and adaptive mind. And here's the little graphic. I apologize that it's not really so easy to see. We're going to make a new one so that it can fit on the whole screen. But if you look on the left over here, fixed mindset. What is that? Intelligence is static. It leads to a desire to look smart and therefore a tendency to avoid challenges, give up easily, see effort as fruitless or worse, ignore useful negative feedback. I'm sure some of you have experienced giving people some feedback and they get completely defensive, and feel threatened by the success of others, which often leads people to compete. And as a result, these people with fixed mindsets, and of course, it's not true that there are two groups of people. We all have some characteristics of both of these. As a result, they may plateau early and achieve less than their full potential. Now let's look at the other side. A growth mindset. People with a growth mindset understand that intelligence can be developed, that it leads to a desire to learn, and I would say unlearn, and therefore a tendency to embrace challenges, to persist in the face of setbacks, to see effort as the path to mastery, and learn from criticism, or we might better call it feedback. Find lessons and inspiration in the success of others, and as a result, people who can develop this growth mindset reach ever higher levels of achievement, and this gives them a greater sense of free will. So this is part of where we want to go in our transformative action learning, developing this mind flex. And let's go back also to here so that we understand how we might be able to get there. I think we probably could agree that that's somewhere we really want to go in ourselves and in our societies. So what's in the way of it? Well, one of the things that's really in the way is what we call in Gaiu the matrix. And the matrix is a word we've made up, but sometimes we need a new word. And this word got made up on a beach in Mexico by Albert Bates, who some of you might know, and Andrew Langford, who is the other co-founder of Gaiu and my partner. Because they said, and we all agreed, that the matrix of patriarchal oppression is probably one of the biggest impediments to people developing this growth mindset and mind flex. And it leads to everyone experiencing in their lives various kinds of oppressions. So what are oppressions? Well, we know about the isms, racism and sexism and homophobia and ageism and all of the many isms that we can be aware of, and which we as alternative folks, I don't know if that's a good word, but it's the word that seems like it encompasses all of the different movements of dragon dreaming and eco villages and Gaia education and transition towns and et cetera, et cetera. We understand that those oppressions are harmful. And they're harmful to us, not just on a society level, but on a personal level. And they create a sense of trauma. And we weren't born that way. We were born as those beautiful little babies that we have noticed and held and maybe even raised. And what happens to us? We get what we call in the reevaluation counseling terms, re-stimulated. When we experience people attacking us or feeling like people are isolating us or people are just sending us bad energy in all the different ways that can happen, we get re-stimulated in the present time to remember in a conscious or unconscious way the ways in which we were treated when we were growing up and when we were children. And we call that re-stimulation. We get emotional. Those emotions, which could be anything from rage to hiding to any of the effects that emotions might create in us. They occlude our good thinking. And so what we need to do, and this is our view and comes from our experience, so I'm not seeking to be evangelist in any way, but our experience is that those emotions that occlude our full natural intelligence need to be discharged. So we know some techniques, and one of them is reevaluation counseling. I'm going to give you a link for that later on. It is an emotional and somatic technique of discharge, and it's a peer-to-peer counseling technique. So once people learn the basic techniques, there is no money that needs to pass. You counsel me for 10 minutes and I counsel you for 10 minutes. And we are supporting each other without any economic arrangement or even any social arrangement between us. So if you want to learn more about that, we do give a course in that in Gaia University, and I'll be putting up the link to the reevaluation counseling website in a little bit. And there are many other emotional somatic techniques, because discharge can also happen by people just moving around and dancing and doing all kinds of other techniques. We know one which we like a lot, which is Alexander technique, which if you haven't heard of, you could look that up on the internet. Feldenkrais is another technique, which is also a somatic technique to make better use of our bodies and to allow us to use our bodies in a way that is not distressed. Contact improv is another technique, as well as dance and theater. And I'm sure you know many other techniques that would be really useful for discharging our emotions. And by discharging our emotions, again, what happens is that we are able to make better use of our natural intelligence. And when we do our breakout group, it would be interesting to know if that has been your experience. We'll be harvesting after that, and to know, has that been your experience? Does crying over something that feels really sad, or shouting over something that makes you really angry in a contained way, we call it a session in reevaluation counseling, but often people do this in their natural life. Does that help you afterward to think better, to feel better, to experience whatever that situation is in a way that allows you to think about it in a more intelligent and rational way? So now we're going to go back to our overview, because there's one more piece that I would like to show you, which is a model by David Kolb, which I think also explains not just the transformative unlearning part, which is really what we're getting at in this mind flex, but explains the action piece of it, which is also, of course, explained in Dragon Dreaming. So I just want to remind all of us that all of this is extremely connected with Dragon Dreaming, and Dragon Dreaming is not just about dreaming, it has an action piece to it too. And we were very grateful to learn about that from John himself in Germany when we were over there. So David Kolb's action learning spiral, and we adapted this little diagram so that you understand that this is something that goes round and round. It's not just a fixed model, but this is something that is a constant spiral model. So you can start anywhere. And the different points are grounded experience. So grounded experience is what you experience in the natural world. And then when we do have a grounded experience, we don't want to just jump to action from there, because we want to do some reflection. We want to observe what is going on in the real world, and we want to do some reflection on that. And then we still don't want to jump straight into action. We want to do some abstract conceptualization. And what do we mean by that? We mean that we want to see what, maybe there's some theory out there. Maybe we want to dive into the internet, or we want to go into some books, and we want to see what the other people who have maybe been thinking about this particular experience, what they might have to say, and how does that actually help us in thinking about what our actions might actually, what actions we might take. And then we want to jump into action, and that we call action, or David Kolb called it active experimentation. And that's not a project that's going to go on then for another 10 years. This is what is called right now rapid prototyping. We're going to design an experiment to see, well, what about our theory? Did that actually play out in action? What about our reflections? What actually happened when we tried out our experiment, when we tried out our little project? And we don't want to make it a really big project, because we want to then take any fresh unlearning and learning experience and go back to our experience in the real world, our reflection, our abstract conceptualization, and try it out again. And there we go around and around the circle. So what are the aspects of this model that we can learn from? Well, we can start anywhere, as I said in the beginning. And it's a really wide experience of doing. So it's not the typical university experience of research and thinking only. It includes research and thinking, but it includes action. And that's why we call this action learning and unlearning transformative, because we are transforming in the process ourselves, our culture, our society, our organizations, and in the end, we're having a transformative impact on our whole planet, on the regeneration and restoration of our planet and the people, of course, and everything that is connected. So we're noticing it while we're doing it. We're noticing how we feel, how we think, how things work out, what we're observing, and therefore, while we're doing, we are transforming the world, and in the process, we are transformed. Okay, so now we're going to go back to you, because now let's see if I can stop my share. There we go. And let's see, here we go. as you can all see, I'm not such a techie person. Let's see. How do I get out of here? And Zoom, are you hearing me?
We can hear you and see you, Liora.
And you can see me. Okay,
Yep,
I can't
and
see
the
you
screen
though. Hold
share is
on.
gone.
Okay, let's see. Hey, now I can see you. And welcome to the people who came in later. Ansha and Deborah, apologize if I'm saying your names wrong, Tracy, and Bo and Jesse, and let's see who else came in. We'll have a chance to hear from you later. And speaker view, yep, okay, so here we are again. Okay, if I didn't say all your names, I apologize for that. But what we're going to do now is what in Gaia University we call think and listen. And what that means is that we're going to go into breakout groups, and the breakout groups will have 3 people in them. Ava, while I'm talking and explaining, this is going to be setting up those breakout groups. And she'll give you about a minute in the beginning to get settled. You have to press the little button that says join room. So make sure you do that. You'll be 3 people in the breakout room, and you'll decide one person goes first, second, third. You don't have to make a big deal about it. Like somebody can just say, oh, okay, I'll go first, second, and third. You'll each have 5 minutes. And the topic is reflections, comments, thoughts, anything that has come up for you in this little talk and conversation that we've been having. And if you don't want to talk about that, you can talk about anything you want. If you want to be silent, that's fine. If you want to dance or sing, that's fine. And what I'm requesting is that you think about anything that came up for you during this little presentation about transformative action learning, any experiences perhaps in your life you've had about oppression and trauma, or experiences about having discharged that, anything that you'd like to say about the process of unlearning or action learning, anything is open. Again, it's not a conversation. One person speaks, but the other people are not passive. You're not thinking about what I'm going to say. You're thinking about, you're not even thinking, you're giving full, undivided, loving, and non-judgmental attention to the person who's speaking. When it's 5 minutes are up, Ava will be letting you know. There'll be a little notice on the screen, and then you pass to the second person. When 5 minutes are up, you pass to the third person. When the third person's time is up, you come back to the main room, and then we'll do some harvesting. Okay, any questions about that? I see there's some things in the chat. Okay. I had to show his cuteness while Liora is talking about babes. Okay, great. We'll get a chance to look at the chat. Ava, maybe don't put me in a room and I'll get a chance to look at the chat, so that if that's possible. Is the numbers working out? Yeah, 13 participants. That can probably leave me out. Okay, so we'll give this a try. Ava will be helping anyone who enters at a later date, or if you get knocked off or something. If for some reason there are only 2 people in your chat, just divide the time, total of 15 minutes. And Ava, you ready?
Yeah, the breakout rooms are ready. I've got 2 groups of 2 and then 2 groups of 3.
Okay.
So if you happen to be in a room with just one person, you guys can make your own time.
Okay.
All right, and we've got 1 minute at the beginning just to get it sorted, and then you'll have 5 minutes each, and you'll have to press the button to get the breakout room.
Okay, so Antje is
All
saying
right, and
she's
make
so
sure
sorry
you're
she has
unmuted,
to leave.
everyone.
Okay, and we'll see you in 15 minutes. Go.
Okay, and if you happen to be alone in the room, you can take this time to journal.
Thanks, Ava. Okay, and I'm going to look at the, oh, so you put me in a breakout room. Okay.
You guys will both have to click on the link to get into the room.
Where is the link? I don't get this, what I usually
It
get.
should be an automatic pop-up. So
No,
it should
not
pop
this
up
time.
automatically. It's not happening. Okay. All right.
Yeah, happening for me as well.
You don't see it, no? Okay. And Bo, are you not able to see the? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try to reassign you guys.
Yeah, I can see it
You'll
now.
have to
Thank
press
you.
that link. Okay, great. Yep. Okay, and it looks like Bo, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello? Anirudh? Can you hear me? All right. Hi, Deborah. Can you hear me? Oh, her connection is not.
Somebody else in here?
Deborah, can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was
Okay,
in my own.
great. Okay, did you get kicked out?
No, I was just in the room by myself, so I decided to come back.
Oh, great. Okay, wonderful. This is kind of the room with some tech issues, so we might need to just be working on those pieces. And Anirudh is coming back in, so let me just see. I might be able to put you three in another room.
Okay.
Okay, Anirudh, can you hear me? Hello?
She doesn't know she's muted.
Great. Hi, Deborah.
She's just muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Anirudh, can you hear me?
She has to unmute.
Great. And Daniel, you're back.
Sorry.
No worries. I'm gonna go ahead and make you the co-host again.
And could you place me into Lisandra's breakout room? I just need 1 second. I need to.
Yes. Okay, she's in breakout room number 2. I'm putting you in there now.
Cheers.
Oh.
Okay, let's see, Bo, can we hear your voice? Is the
Muted.
microphone working?
Muted.
Hello? Bo?
Maybe they don't know how to unmute.
Okay, I've invited all 3 of you to join breakout number 1. Do you see that notification?
Not yet.
I don't think that's going to be working. Nope. It worked for Anirudh. Bo and Deborah. Oh my God, gross.
I'm suggested.
Hello, Deborah, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. And Bo, can you hear me? Are you there? I've asked you to unmute. You'll have to press that button. Okay, well, you guys are not able to join the breakout room, it looks like.
Maybe she's on the phone. No.
Okay, we've
Okay.
got more people coming in. Is this Uri? Can you hear me?
I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, they're in the, okay, I've got to tell people to switch now. Just hang on there, Uri. We're in a room with 2 other people. We're having some tech issues.
Muted too.
Okay. Can you hear me, Uri? Hello?
Unmute.
Can you unmute yourself, Uri?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Magic action.
Great. I'm going to assign you to a room with Anirudh. See, have to press a button to join there, Woody. And Deborah, I'm not able to move you. Okay,
Oh, you
great.
can. Okay.
I'm not able to move you. So let me try something really quick. You're going to be asked to join breakout room number 3, and you're going to click to do that. And then I'm going to move you again to breakout number 1. So ultimately you need to be in breakout number 1. So just press the buttons that come if you see them.
Come up. Okay.
Do you see that button? I've sent you back in there.
Hold on.
You should be asked to join breakout room number 1.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I guess it's time for me to just journal because I don't see any breakout room. Okay, let me see breakout rooms. Okay, yeah.
Do you see that? Okay, Deborah? You there? Oh my God, Chris.
Oh, Ava.
Hi, we're back in the, yep, we
back
got everybody back.
Yeah, excellent.
And it looks like everyone's joined again. So we can get back.
Okay, very good. Great. Everyone's back, the people who stuck with us. And maybe we have one room that is, there we go. Okay. So now it's your turn. And I'd like to do a little harvesting. There are several ways in which you can let us know that you want to speak. And one of them, that's the most formal one, is go to the participants list. And if you see a little raised hand there, which actually on my screen, it's not showing up. So it doesn't always show up. I don't know why. But if you don't see that, or if you don't want to do it that way, you can just do that, or you can just do that, or you can jump in and just speak. And we're happy to hear from anyone who'd like to start. Anything that you'd like to speak, it can be what you have harvested, it can be about your dream, it can be about anything in your life that feels important or significant, anything you would like to share. So anyone can start. Okay, so Peggy.
Yeah, I guess what I was realizing is that I often get stuck in the thinking about things and having ideas for something, but not really pulling a community together or sharing the dream with other people in a way that I can take action on it. Because I kind of get stuck and I've got this really great idea, but I don't know how to put it into action. So kind of getting stuck in the way systems are currently set up and not reaching out beyond to imagine new partners and new possibilities. So in the past few days, I've started writing down all kinds of possibilities of people and organizations I can connect with locally to do more work with permaculture and local foods and trying to do that in ways that include the diversity of our community. And it's starting to feel more possible that, okay, there might be something I could do at a local level. I've tended to also think at really big levels too, where, okay, I'm not going to be able to easily feel like I can make an impact there. But if I start more locally with a few relationships and an organization or two, hopefully that'll get leading into the action more, and then the reflection and back to new, more focused ideas for projects to actually do.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Peggy. And now anyone else? So we'll see if we have enough time. If everyone, that was very well modeled, Peggy, not too long, and yet very significant for you. And let's see if we can get to everyone before our time has run out. So who else would like to share? Okay, yes. Noor, you're on. Just remember to unmute. Yeah. Thank you.
Just wanted to share briefly about this this pause or this break when we have difficulties from others or from our organizations that we work with, or from the environment that we are working in, and then how can we, prepare ourselves again and get working again on things that are more important for us.
Yes.
Few things that have worked for me so far. One thing that is a bit different and that I shared in the group as well is that what has worked for me is that I started working on very small assignments with few friends, which kept me busy in something very productive, and which also, in a way, lessened the burden that I was feeling or the trouble that I was facing. So continuously for 4 or 5 years, I have been doing small stories, small projects, small assignments that were our own, that were not financially secure, but that gave us the space to breathe and to keep breathing and to keep trusting each other, the close circle that we were in, and to keep ourselves motivated. So that's briefly I wanted to share.
Thank you, Noor. Yes, some good suggestions there. And who else would like to share? If anyone was here in the beginning, we did a little bit of a meditation on our largest dream and maybe a smaller dream that might bring us in the direction of our larger dream. So that's something that if you'd like to share, or the whole question of oppressions and traumas and how that has affected your life and any techniques you found or unlearning. Okay, Melody, go.
Hello, everyone. It was the first thing that from the beginning, when you were talking about Fintorn, 2 days ago, yesterday I got your mail, by the way, and 2 days ago I have a dream, and I want to share this with all of you. And from my father, I have heard Fintorn. He has been to Fintorn really long time ago. So in my dream, we were with my father, and I was carrying a big circle of green, blue, turquoise color of gel, which was organism, and which was really, I'm dealing with ecologic materials. So that's why I think because of it, it was really organic stuff. And we were trying to make an energy from that organism, that gel. And with this meeting, I really feel that, because my dreams are a little big about this. And so like self-sufficient systems, I'm really focusing on self-sufficient system from the bio-inspired knowledge. And so we were carrying this gel to Fintorn and to supply energy. So I remember this directly when you were talking about Fintorn, and I want to share this with all of you. And so more I'm focusing on self-sufficient living style, I can say. And it starts from us and from my space. Firstly, it should start. And then for really from the dream side, for the impression of this to the life comes from the organisms. So it was the one that I want to share.
Thank you so much. And I'm just noticing someone is waiting in the waiting room, Ava, so if you could let them in. And thank you, Melody, for sharing your dream. Yeah, okay. And yeah, we could hear from a couple more people. We have a little bit more we want to do on the webinar. I tried to keep the time to, okay, Arcana came in, Earth Being. If I mispronounced your name, I apologize. And I'd love to hear from some of the people who came in later. So Deborah, if I've said your name incorrectly, please correct it. If you could just tell us where you're calling from. Deborah?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Puerto Escondido, Mexico.
Wow.
And, yes, and I thought of this. I love the different models. My journey, I on my website I say I focus on healing the 3 isms to be better conscious co-creators of the life we desire, which is racism, sexism, and ageism. And so my goal was to write 3 books by the end of 2020. And I've written 2 so far. I'm on my last one. I have 5 months left to count now. And the first one is called Afraid of Our Own Shadow, a manifesto and guide to conscious co-creation. And the second one is called Prayers of a Virgin, 52 weeks of poetic inspiration and personal planetary guidance with the Destiny cards, which is a motivational calendar. It also talks a little bit about worldviews and changing paradigms. All the work I do is always focusing on shifting paradigms and experiences I've had in Black communities, white communities, learning how to transform by using the heart energy. And the first book talks about the 7 steps of conscious co-creation. Second book is more about the Destiny Code system, but it also breaks down to how, when we understand our life's path and cycles, we can make better choices. Wow. And the third book called It's All God, A Conscious Co-Creator's Guide to Healing the Effects of White Supremacy. And that book title was in 2012. And it's so funny because everybody at the time was saying, what are you talking about white supremacy for? And it's so relevant for today now, but I had the book titles, 7 or 8 years ago. And that's the hardest, because it's really about story, because we learn through story. So I share my journey and the things that have transformed me. And so that's the big one I'm working on now.
Wow. Impressive, and thank you so much for sharing. And if this virus ever settles down, maybe I'm in Mexico too, in the state of Morelos, so maybe we can get together.
Oh, Morelos, yeah.
Okay. And Arcana, if I said your name right, could you just tell us where you're calling from and any comments you'd like to make? We have a little bit more time.
So I'm Archana.
Archana.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm from India.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I have, I run a social enterprise here, and I work very closely with communities. And I have been working on developing a collaborative, collective process, a learning ecosystem, which will be focused on taking the local indigenous communities' knowledge into the purview, and how we can build an ecosystem that works with vulnerable children over there. So how can we create a space which also provides them with a safe space, but at the same time doubles up as a learning space where they can learn whatever they desire. So it's a very self-created learning ecosystem where we provide them with all that exists, and they can choose what they feel inspired by or aspire for, and then work on that. So I work in vulnerable communities across the Himalayas, and that is what I'm engaged in right now with the relief work in that community and the transgenders community. So I've been looking at, the kind of knowledge ecosystem that Gaia has, and it has been very, very motivating and inspiring for me. And I really wanted to be here on time, but I got pulled into another call which just wouldn't end. So I was hoping that you guys were still around for me to at least hop on board and say a quick hello. So thank you so much for letting me in.
Thank you. And we are recording this, so if anyone missed any piece of this, or if you have friends, family, colleagues who would like to watch the recording, it'll be up on the Com Festival YouTube. And I think we have time for maybe one or two more. Jesse, you didn't get a chance to say hello in the beginning. Do you want to say hello, where you're calling from? Any comments or something that's going well for you in your life? Jesse Scheinberg, if you can unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Ah, good. So my internet now is not so stable, so I apologize, I cannot turn the video on.
Okay.
But I'm calling from Israel right now.
Okay.
I came back the last 3 months from Ghana, from West Africa, where I work there with the local community, also with local social agents and volunteers from around the world. And it was very interesting for me also to process all this information and ideas about the cycle of call, that is a cycle we use a lot in order to use the local knowledge and experiences and the culture in order to transform challenges and to create opportunities from them. And of course, we do it even before this COVID-19 that situation that of course requires another deep understanding of how new challenges are appearing, but at the same time how at this
might have to mute. Yeah,
I think I did that, Liora.
It's fine, don't worry. And at the same time, I think that there are things that already were there, and it was very inspiring for me to hear from other people here about what they are into or what are their projects and how we are understanding the challenges and trying to transform them. And to end, I would like to add that I'm very connected to the unlearning process, because I share that in my breakout room, that in order to have space for new information and for new experiences and for analyzing and processing what we experience and what we prototype in the communities where we live in, we have to release, we have to make space. We have to understand that there are things that are not working anymore, and we can see it very strongly now. And it's time to let go. And I think in this process, we are cycling and recycling also information and also creating opportunities for new paradigms and structures to be born. And yeah, I think it is a process very natural of life, of death, life, death, that I'm very connected to.
Thank you, Jessie. Okay, what an awesome group we have. It's just really inspiring for me. As I was saying in our little breakout group, I've been at this for about 50 years, and sometimes seeing the state of the world could be a little depressing. And then I come on these webinars with the Gaiu folks or the Dragon Dreaming folks or the transition or the permaculture folks, and wow, just relights my fire and my inspiration, and just seeing how people all over the world are just going so deep into a transformative action, learning and unlearning. So I'm going to stop now with the sharing, and I apologize for those people who might have liked to have shared, but we'll go back to our screen share because I wanted to go into next steps, because before we get to celebration and Dragon Dreaming, we might have a few more steps to take. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see if that actually works this time. We had a little difficulty with it before.
Yep, we can see it, Liora.
Okay, and here we go. So next steps, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna just put that down, and yep. So here's some ideas about next steps. And when you are going to next steps, you want to get involved in design. And some people have mentioned permaculture is a great design system. We call it eco-social design because people often think of ecology, which actually includes everything, but they think of that as the green stuff. In permaculture, they often think about spiral gardens. So we want to make sure that we understand that the social piece also needs design and action. And so project-based action learning, if you remember in the Kolb model, we talked about rapid prototyping, the reflection, the observation, the diving into some research and understanding. As Kurt Lewin said, nothing so practical as a good theory. And that's something that we can always keep in mind. But we want to do that project-based action learning and unlearning in a rapid prototyping way. So we're constantly going around the spiral and learning from it. One thing that's been often missing is documentation. Many things going on all around the planet, and we often don't share that information and have the chance to really collaborate with each other. So in Gaiu, people set up e-portfolios. Lysandra has one. Maybe one day she'll share that with you, and which you can then share the work that you're doing and collaborate with people all over the world who are doing similar work. If you're working in dry land, landscapes, if you're working in the jungle, if you're working in different kinds of environments, in social environments, in cities and so on. Collaboration is a really key piece of this. And it's one of the things that as a kind of elder in these movements, I've been saying to everyone, we cannot continue to just compartmentalize our movements. We need to find the linkages without becoming another movement, not trying to necessarily join up Transition Towns and Global Eco Village Network, but find points of collaboration in which we can be sharing and make sure we are not competing in any way. Sometimes there's a lot of money distress around. Economics are not always so easy. working in these kind of fields, and it becomes a competitive environment, and it's something that we really need to avoid, so that we are in our alternative movements supporting each other, sharing with each other the way we've been doing on this webinar. And so Gaiu is there as a support system. We have a lot of offerings, many of them free, and I'm just going to share a few of those with you. So Andrew has written it. Popped out somewhere funny. Let's see if we can get that up again. Okay. So these, okay, hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so here are some of the free offerings we have in Gaia University. It's GaiaUniversity.org. There is also Gaia Education, but those are courses, and Gaia University offers not only courses like the certificate in eco-social design, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But Andrew Langford, who is a permaculture designer since 1985, English, British, however you want to put that in these terms these days, it's hard to know. But he put the eco-social design course into a book, and you can get that on leanpub.org/ESD. And Ava is going to put those links into the chat so that you can see it. You donate whatever you would like to pay. You can download the book, so you can make it free, or you can, if you have the economic resources, you can donate something that supports the work and Gaia University, especially our scholarship fund. We have a free course called Regenerative Livelihoods by Design. And this is especially for people who are saying, yeah, I want to make this kind of work my livelihood. I want to make a living doing what I love. And so we made this course especially for people to explore how we can best put this front and center in our lives and make a living doing this kind of regenerative work. And several times a month, we have Gaia radio webinars. It's actually, we started out calling it radio, and we haven't found a better name, but they're actually live webinars, and we record them, and we have some very amazing speakers come on. If you join our mailing list, which you can get on by just going onto a GaiaUniversity.org website, you'll get all kinds of information about that. So those are our freebies, and then here are some of our program offerings. Starting October 15th, we'll be starting again our certificate in eco-social design. It's about an 6 to 8 month long course that includes live webinars, readings, activities, Slack conversations, the development of a community of action unlearners and learners, and it's a very exciting course, so you might look into that. And then we have our what we call deep dive programs, which are degree programs. Gaia University as a university offers bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, postmasters, graduate diplomas, and we're still working on figuring out what a doctoral program in a university that is transformative action unlearning should really look like. Not the usual doctoral programs that have you so compartmentalized that you are just researching the nose of a particular kind of whale that lives in the South Pacific or so. We also have diploma programs. We have an international permaculture design diploma and another diploma in action for resilience. All of those programs start with that cohort, which is a community cohort on October 15th. And then we have one more activity. And if you want to get in touch with us, Ava is going to put up on the chat And if you want to save the chat, if you don't know this, there's a little 3 dots at the bottom of the chat on the right-hand side, which will, at the very end of this webinar, give you a chance to save it. So we've done, we didn't do our visioning exercise. We went straight to offerings, but we're going to do that right now. So we were going to do this in a breakout group, but we didn't leave enough time for that. So I'm going to just give you this as a suggestion. And we always start with what's going well. There are a lot of things in our lives that we could complain about, I'm sure. And it's good to start with what is going well. Then we might say what's also challenging. And what are our long-term goals and visions? You might be thinking about that in terms of that dream that you have. That's my long-term goal and vision. Before I leave this planet, I'd like to see a major improvement in the restoration and regeneration of eco-social planetary change. And the very important piece of this little exercise is, what are the next achievable steps? And we say achievable because sometimes we jump too fast to things that are really beyond our reach, and then we don't get that opportunity to feel like we have actually achieved something. So what is our next achievable step or steps? So you might like to take a little notice of that, or you can go back to the recording and do this exercise. And you might do it in pairs or in 3s, the way we did our think and listens. So Ava, if you could put up those little links, we're going to just go back to stop.
Everything is posted in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Ava, and thank you for all the good support and service work you do in Gaia University. We really appreciate it. And one of the things I loved about Dragon Dreaming is the celebration. So I'm going to stop my share, and we're going to turn on all your mics. And we have 5, well, we'll do them one at a time if you'd like to share a highlight for you of what would you like to celebrate about this webinar, something that was a highlight for you. And then at the end, we'll turn on all our mics and we'll say farewell. So same drill, you can raise your hand or you can just jump in. A highlight for you, and we'll make it short. A couple of words. Highlights. Anybody want to share?
I'm just inspired by how many places around the world we are, and all looking on at least somewhat similar kinds of directions. So that's inspiring to me.
Thank you so much, Peggy. And anyone else want to share a highlight of the webinar for you?
My highlight,
yes, Deborah.
Go. My highlight was meeting new people. It's always meeting new people, even though the group session didn't go so well. I got bounced around a lot, but I met some people and got new resources, their websites and what they're doing in places that I know, some places I don't know.
Excellent. Other highlights?
So going off of what Deborah said, we were in the same breakout and it was quite exciting for all of us to share. You mentioned Albert Bates. I've met him in India when he was here for the IPC. So I think we're all connecting from different places, but with a similar vision. And we're connected in ways that we don't know of, you know. This is just like so powerful.
Excellent. Yes, thank you. People, our connections, absolutely a highlight. Anyone else? We didn't hear from Uri.
Noor raised his hand.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Noor. And then if Uri, if you'd like to share a highlight, we'd love to hear your voice.
I just wanted to share that was reassuring for me that despite the difficulties and at times being stuck at things, it's always possible to start again, and it's always possible to start wherever we are. And this, I think, is something I'm taking away from this webinar.
Thank you very much, Noor. And Uri, Imagine Action, would you like to share where you're calling from and any highlight?
Yeah, sure. I'm calling from Italy, from Abruzzo. The connection is not so good. I'm actually on Zoom vacation, but I made an exception. Also, everything changed. The back window of my car broke, like everything. But I'm doing what I call archaeology of the dream now. I feel there is so many pieces of dreams that across my life that I seeded and heard and listened, and just looking into that. And what I take from this call is this sense of support and listening from everyone and from this space.
Thank
and
you.
Patience.
Thank you. And I love Imagine Action. It's beautiful. Lysandra, you want to share any highlight as our host?
Yeah, I want to celebrate the technology to make us connect in different parts in the world, and also to know people, although we are far physically, but I can feel the connection and how the energy arise. And now we are here in Brazil, you starting your day, and Europe starting the activities by Con Festival, and it's like a flow of energy, you know, and I'm super happy about that. And I celebrate it. I celebrate our human capacity to connect.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lysandra, and thank you for organizing this. And I take another one or two celebrations, highlights. Yes, Daniel.
Well, first I want to second what Peggy said before. Normally the last few sessions that have been on, and also like this is a representation of the Dragon Dreaming community a little bit, it's either very Europe centric or Brazil centric, and this is a session with people from India, from Turkey, from Pakistan, and it's just it's beautiful to reach, to branch out in so many different places in the world and get a so this has been, yeah, brilliant. And one aha I have seen Kolb's model many times before, but today when you talked about it, it was the first time that I could see it also happening in understanding movement, being applied in understanding movement. Maybe not the abstract abstraction and conceptualization, but understanding movement through all the other steps I could really see happening. So, you know, for me also as a sports coach, that's an interesting thing. So this was one of my big ahas.
Thank you, Daniel. Excellent. And one more celebration from a person, and then we'll turn on all our mics and we can do our joint celebration. Anyone else have a highlight, a celebration they'd like to share?
I'll say something.
Yes, Tracy, go.
Hello. I like the, we're all kind of coming from like different places in our journey of how we kind of want to have a positive impact on the planet. And there's like this like general consensus of like no judgment. We're all kind of accepting of like, hey, we're all in like different places in our lives and we're all different things going on, and we're all trying to make a bit of an impact as much as we can possible with the resources we have. So thank you all.
Okay, and thank you all. And if you would like to get in touch with me, Liora@GaiaUniversity.org, or if you have general questions about Gaia University, you can write to info. We'd love to see you all on other Gaia University webinars. We have some very interesting ones. And thank you to Ava. We have them also recorded. And so you can hear ones from Starhawk, from John D. Liu, from John Croft, from many of the people who are very interesting Vandana Shiva, many people who are really worth listening to. And so, Ava, if you could just turn on all our mics, and in any language you want, your native languages or your indigenous languages or your gibberish languages or anything, we're going to celebrate and say goodbye. And thank you. Adiós, nos vemos, les queremos mucho, muchas gracias.
Everyone.
Un poco de baile, bueno. Nos vemos en otro momento. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.